Hey guys, I'm recording this little thing after recording the episode because I want you to know this before you go in. So, the Stardust series was never intended to have a prestige system in it, so it has not been designed to have a prestige system at any point. So, because of that, the implementation of the prestige here is going to be very messy and chaotic, but it's still very relevant if you actually want to implement a prestige system in your games. You will actually see the entire process of how you create this, even with a game that didn't plan it beforehand. But really, the reason why I made this video is because prestige is something that is very uh, common in the idle games, and lots of people want to know how to do that usually. So yeah, that's why I did that, and because someone requested it, of course. So this will probably not go on the main branch of the game, right? So this will probably be something that never makes it to the full game. But yeah, that will be a separate branch, separate universe, and that's it. So I'm out, and you have fun watching this. Hey guys, welcome back to the Stardust series. Today we will talk about a subject that is very common in the idle games and yet not so easy to implement based on what you did before you planned to make this feature. Prestige. Prestige is the common name we give to basically a reset of the game with what we would call a soft reset, because you do get some kind of currencies which will help you go further in the game, and you may retain a certain amount of things while you are resetting. So this is exactly what we will be doing. We will make a soft reset of the game that will reset everything except for the achievements, which will stay exactly as they are. So we could make a little drawing to plan what we need, just like I did for the the achievement system. But really, it would be very long and tedious. All we have to keep in mind is that in order to make the reset working, we need to reset the data object, right? To put everything back to 0. And then we basically need to reset all the nodes from the scenes which display things so that they reload as if you would start the game all over again, right? So we could do this in a, I would say, global way, where we basically take the user interface, remove it from the game, and add it again to the game, right? That could be something. But we could also look at each and every single element in the game and say, okay, this is your reload method, and there's going to be a reload signal, and this is when you're going to reload, right? First, I think it would be interesting to create a prestige manager. That would be kind of cool, I guess, because it would allow us to have all the prestige logic in there. So I'm going to create a new script, handler prestige. Let's have this new script right away. So let's give it a usual class name, handler prestige, and a singleton reference, right? So that we can use this as a singleton. So let's just create a simple signal, which is prestige triggered, right? So that we can now, how any part of the game, plug on this in order to know when we are going through a prestige and when they should go through their own reset. So at the moment, I'm not gonna go super complex. I'm just gonna create a simple function which is gonna be prestige, And that function will contain everything that we will do when we do trigger the prestige, right? So this method will be used by our prestige button. Talking about a prestige button, it's probably better to have a dedicated view, etc., for that. But in order to save time, because it can be a quite long video, I'm just gonna add a button on this view, on the universe view, which will allow us to prestige. So what do we have? We have the active effects. Yeah, I'm gonna add a button in front of. Oh, so we have spacing here. Maybe we can just want to have this spacing expand like this, so that the progress toward consciousness core is pushed to the bottom. Right, so after the Stardust thing in there, I'm gonna add a button. So I'm gonna put that here, which is gonna be a prestige button, right? And let's go with 80 pixels. Let's just go with prestige. Typed on it, and yeah, I'm gonna add a new space in there, but I just want this space to be a little smaller. Don't want it to expand, and just like this, right? So we'll have prestige. So it's not so, it's definitely not beautiful, but at least we have a prestige button here now. Let's bind it right away. This will be done. So here we have the universe view. Do we actually want this to be in the universe view? Yes, let's go with that. So on prestige button pressed, we just want to find the handler prestige dot prestige, right? That's the only thing we want to do. All right, so now let's add the handler to our handlers, right? So that we can create a new gray node. And here we will have prestige. And there we go. Here's the script. Okay. So maybe we can start with data, because we will have to reset the data basically. Just to be sure, I mean to let you know, I'm not gonna bother with adding a prestige currency in this episode. Adding a prestige currency is definitely not the hardest part of prestige. Maybe I will make an episode about it, but prestige is gonna be a very long thing already, so I'm trying to keep it as well. I'm trying to keep it simple. Yeah. So what was I saying? The data, right? So let's go in the data in here. All right. And eventually we could, I guess, we could create a method which would be prestige data. So the point of this method, right, is to basically have the logic of the data contained within the data, so that we have something which can reset all the data with a simple method, right? Here, this function is not export, so it shouldn't be part of the save file that we create. So in this method, what we want to do is basically get um, all the variables, all the properties, and reset them to a new value, right? So for example, here we have consciousness core and save time. So save time, I will leave it like it is. There's no problem with save time. Um, so we will just reset everything, right? So consciousness core is going to be equal to 0. Then we have Stardust, ionized Stardust, and liquid Stardust. So we have Stardust equals 0, ionized Stardust equals 0. And liquid stardust equals 0. All right. And as well, I will create new objects for CC upgrade, universe, sifting, but not achievements, right? So CC upgrade is going to be a new data CC upgrade, and it's going to be the same for universe. So universe will be equal to a data universe. Sifting will be equal to a new data sifting. And achievements will stay the same, right? So we don't touch achievements. And last but not least, Nebulas will be cleared, right? So maybe we can just clear the array. Do we have something like this? Nebulas dot clear. All right. I'm just gonna check that clear does really empty the array, just to be sure. Clears the array. All right, so it's fine. So here we have a method that prestige the data. So maybe that will be the first thing we do when we prestige. We prestige the data, and then we reset the entire interface. Okay, so here in our prestige, I will call on game.ref.data.prestige data. All right. So if I just do that right away, it could create some weird bugs, but basically the idea is that everything should be resetted to 0. But we still have consciousness core being produced, right? Because we have many things, but basically we saw the consciousness core being resetted. The reason why consciousness cores on the left didn't reset is because it didn't get any signal saying, hey, my value changed. So it didn't have any reason to change. So now, as I just said, it's just a matter of resetting the user interface. So we could look at a very brutal way to do that, which would be removing the user interface and creating a new one. So maybe we could do that, right? I'm going to create a reload user interface, which is going to be a void method. And in there, what I will do is I will find the user interface, right? So here we have the node user interface, which we create, but we need to catch it, right? So we could here I will change the node user interface dot name to be equal to user interface like this. And I will be able to get the node in there. So here I will get node user interface, and I will just remove chime. Actually I need remove child of get node user interface. That's better. So here we will get node user interface. So it's important that we have the same name as here. So anyway, we remove this node. So now when I click on the prestige button, okay, when I click on the prestige button, everything should be gone or not. All right. Okay, I didn't call on the reload actually. That makes sense. So yeah, here we want game.rev. Reload user interface. So actually, I named it wrong because I don't want this. back to Prestige. Here I want to reload user interface. So now it should be gone when I click the button. All right, the user interface is gone. Let's go back to this game script, right? So here, I actually want to queue-free this user interface. So instead, what I will do is I will put that in a variable old interface, which is going to be typed user interface, will be equal to this get node. So here I will remove all interface like this, and then I will queue-free it. Queue-free, all right. I will also rename it just to be sure that it doesn't cause any problem. So here we'll change the name to old user interface, right? So that when we create the new one, the name isn't taken and we don't have things like user interface 2, which will create problems later on. So we have this, and now I will just go with taking that code here. So maybe I can put that in a load user interface, right? So here I will create load user interface, void it, and here's the method. All right. So here we're gonna load the user interface, and in there we're gonna load the user interface as well. All right. So the idea is that now when I prestige, I should have a new user interface back, and the universe isn't active. I think I made a little mistake in my data right there. Consciousness score is supposed to be equal to 1 and not 0. So let's fix this. And yeah. So as you may have noticed, we had a consciousness Stardust production going on when after we prestige, basically because the handlers didn't reset, right? The handlers didn't have any information that they needed to reset. So we will have to create some, we'll have to reset those manually, right? So here we only have those resource handlers, so those should be very fine, okay? Those are okay. We have the CC upgrades handler. This guy though will have to be resetted, I guess. I'm gonna create a method which is gonna be initialize upgrades. And what I will do there is I will grab all the update that we create and I will give them a new data, all right? I'm gonna use this time to actually add the nodes as children, right? So just like I did with the achievements, if you watch this video, instead of just creating orphan nodes, I will add those nodes to the CC upgrades manager so that we can basically have them being nodes in the tree and not just floating nodes. So of course I did change the functioning of the get or upgrades method so that it returns those the children, right? So that we don't have to list those again. All right, so now we have this initialized thing. So we want to initialize the upgrades when we do create the object, the upgrades in there. Let's see the Stardust generator. Basically, I guess that what we want to do on Prestige, we want to calculate the power and to stop the timer, right? Because the timer is supposed to start when we buy the upgrade, right? So here I will just create an on Prestige again. And what I will do is I will calculate the generator power. Now, actually, I'm thinking right now that we might want to control the order for things to reset, right? Because right there, when we calculate the generator power, we will use the it's actually just the data of the upgrade, so we're fine. No, so it's gonna be fine. So we can calculate the generated power and stop the timer. Timer.stop. Right, we can try just this. It should be very fine. So here we'll have a handler prestige. That's ref that prestige triggered. And we want to connect on prestige. This reload user interface here should be controlled by a signal basically, but let's not waste too much time. So Nebulas is going to be quite complicated, I guess. So let's have this on prestige thing. Okay, so maybe I did something wrong with the upgrades. Because here, I'm basically connecting to a signal within the upgrades. So if I remove the upgrades from the tree to add the upgrades again, the signal connection is broken. So here, this is broken by what I did in the upgrades, right? So we'll have to do this differently for the upgrades. Here, we want to calculate the attraction weight rate. And what was the other one? Nebula capacity. So now we need to take care of low nebulas. Here I will just add that I want nebulas to be equal to, well, actually, instead of just having it here, I will bring this to the top. So nebulas is going to be empty. And I guess that now I can load nebulas like this and connect on ready this prestige. So handler prestige dot rev that's prestige triggered and connect on prestige method. All right. So that should be okay for the nebulas. We will need to have a specific method to reset the upgrades. Well, you know what? This is going to be in rev node. And we will type those as upgrade later on. Let's go in the abstract of upgrades and create a reload void method. There will be a virtual thing that we can call on for every upgrade. So now each upgrade should have its reload method. And essentially what this will do, let me copy this. So what this should be doing is getting the level, right? So here we will have this level is equal to game.rev.data.cc upgrades the 01 generation level, right? So now I should be able to go in my CC upgrades manager there, and on prestige, I could have the upgrades, which is an array of node, get all upgrades for upgrade, and now I'm gonna type it upgrade. I just want upgrade to reload. But I'm not generating any Stardust right now. So that's a problem. Yes, we have this disconnection here. So I'm just gonna remove the disconnection. Wow, we're creating consciousness cores like crazy. That's super weird. That's what we'll have to check. So now we will create a new nebula. That will be like this. And I should be able to prestige again and have an error. So we have those nebulas which exist, I guess, and they aren't being deleted, right? So those are node. So I think we need to destroy all the nebulas. But where are those nebulas? Okay, so I will get all nebulas. So this didn't get reset, right? This consciousness core required. So maybe we need to fix that. Right, so anyway, we need to reset this. So we'll have a on prestige thing in there. So we want this. And so we want to go in the init, reset the universe to the new game data. And we want to initialize the new milestones to whatever. Right. Yeah, well, I need to connect the signal first and foremost. Can I do that in the init? So handler prestige dot ref dot prestige cricket. I don't know if you can connect a signal in the init function. I would say no, but so this is working now because we handled that. Let's buy nebulas, create a nebula, and have some attraction power. Okay, so now I will prestige again. So I should be back to that. I didn't reset. I just resetted the first upgrade. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that now, right now. All right, back to some testing. So you may have noticed that I didn't take in the checks. Wait a second. Didn't take in the checks for if there's a level, etc., because obviously on reload we will have to bind the signal again. There could be some problems eventually if you rebind a signal which already exists. So this is, I mean, it's not going to create a problem, but it will duplicate the unlock, which could be weird. So that's something you might want to check. And the next thing is, if you want to have a prestige that allows you to keep some levels while you prestige, then obviously you want to be able to check on the level before you connect this kind of signals, well, whatever. So let's see. Yeah, I didn't reload the oh, it should be fine actually. So yes, let's see. All right, can get rid of the max level things. I unlock the Nebulas, I go in there, I put something in that, go there, prestige, and reset this, and we're back. Now I want to unlock the Nebulas again, and we'll see what's happening in the Nebulas view. Nebulas view is empty, right? So it's actually okay. Right. I have the slight feeling that I wanted to do something, but I can't remember what. I guess we have everything we need for the most basic prestige. I didn't try sifting prestige, in fact, but well, there's no. Once the user interface is reloaded, everything should be fine, I guess. But alright, the point is that this game was never designed to have a prestige in it. And the moral of this episode is that if you want to have a prestige system in your game, you have to think about it right at the start. Because as you can see, many behaviors can be changing based on if there's prestige or not, because they need to have in mind the idea that there will be a reload at some point in time. So yeah, maybe it will be clearer if I make a whole new project, right, with the prestige in mind when I create it, right, because that wasn't the point of this game ever. So anyway, uh, it's obviously messy, right, because of the non-planned thing, but I hope you find solutions and answers to how you can implement this in your very own game. I know I didn't go too much in the user interface thing because I just went super hardcore and deleted the entire user interface to reset it. But if you need to keep your user interface and just reload a few things, well, it will work exactly the same way as the upgrades or the nebulas would be resetted, right? You basically grab the signal and you have a reload behavior in the component that needs to be reloaded, right? That's quite it. So that's it. Anyway, I hope you like this episode, and yeah, I will see you in the next one, either in the starter series or something different. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I see you later.